What's up, everybody? Welcome to my top 10 running backs in the 2018 NFL Draft. Real quick, thanks to my patrons, new patrons Phil Dotzler, Peter Rogers, Matthew D'Agostino, Hunter Quinton, and Bryce McDonald. Appreciate the support, guys. So it's time to talk some running backs here. You're going to see some new ratings here. So I originally just had one overall rating. Now, to differentiate the players' more immediate impact and what I think their potential is, you'll now see an impact rating, which is more of their Madden grade, like their overall entering the league right away, and then an overall grade, which is how good I think they could get. And then you'll also see an overall grade, which is gonna be 2 times that impact grade, and one of those potential grades, the average of those 3. And that's just sort of their overall prospect grade. For the running backs, you'll see a bunch of different attributes that I grade, but the biggest ones for me by far, number 1 is balance. This is sort of an uncoachable trait that some running backs have and some just don't, and it's the ability to understand angles and then pair it with that physical ability to absorb contact, stay on your feet, and do what you got to do to extend the run. We've got shiftiness, which is more your ability just to make guys miss, and then power, which is your ability to run a guy over and then use your power to gain 2-3 extra yards consistently. So just to break those down a little bit, and let's get into it here with number 1. No surprise, obviously, Saquon Barkley. Now, I've been giving prospect grades for about 4 years now, and I've been evaluating in my head at least for a long time, and Saquon Barkley is the best prospect I've ever evaluated. I'm not going to say he is the best of all time, but I certainly think he's up there. As a running back, we're talking about a guy who has the vision of Le'Veon Bell, the burst of Zeke Elliott combined with the power, the speed of Todd Gurley, and the open field elusiveness of Shady McCoy. Really is a superhuman type of running back, freaky athlete, but he's got a lot of skill to him as well. Probably more skill, honestly, than he gets off of his physical ability. If there is a question about him, is he going to be able to hit a hole when it might not fully be there, sort of like what Zeke can do, where there's a slim hole, if maybe no hole, and he can get 2-3 yards on almost every single run, consistently fall forward. He didn't show a ton of that in college. Now, the physical ability is clearly there, and I think that is going to be something he implements into his game. But if you're going to have a knock on him, it's that his running style may be more effective in college than NFL, and he might have to change that style a little bit. At worst, he's going to piddle-paddle a little bit too much trying to find a hole and be Le'Veon Bell, which, that's not a bad thing. And then number 2, and these guys really 2 through 4 here have changed a lot in the last 3 weeks, and they'll probably continue to change. They're all very close, but I've got Darius Geis just a smidgen ahead of my next 2, and he's climbed a lot since draft day. The biggest thing for me was weighing in at 224 because he was listed at 210 in college, and I saw a guy who has a lot of power and is a feisty runner. But at 210, I wasn't sure how well that was going to translate. And I thought he was fast, but I didn't know quite how fast. He comes out and runs a 4.49 at 224. Really blew me away. I think that really helps his stock. I've got him as a comparison to Devonta Freeman right now. He's not quite, he's a little taller, actually. I believe Freeman's like 5'8". But I will add, it kind of depends where your team's taking him, because this is such a deep running back class, and by the way, a top 10 list isn't going to do this class justice because I've got 14 running backs that, I'm not even kidding, could be all-pro type of running backs, depending where they end up. So if you're taking Darius Geis, who, yes, is ranked number 2, but is much closer to my number 3 than he is to Saquon Barkley, I mean, I would take him second round, maybe like the last pick in the first round, second to last pick, something like that. But if you're taking him around 20 or even earlier, I think that's too early just because of positional value. Then at number 3, I've got Nick Chubb, sort of the forgotten man coming off that knee injury, and then is just sharing carries with Sony Michel in his last year. But he looked back, and he proved it at the Combine. He comes out and runs a 4.52. Now, he's not a super fast guy, but he is fast for his size. I like the Jordan Howard comparison. I think he can catch the ball a lot better than Jordan Howard, though, which is going to give him a higher ceiling in the modern NFL. But he's really smooth running between the tackles, maybe the most polished guy in this class as far as finesse, finding holes, and sneaking through the traffic there. So I like Nick Chubb here at number 3. Then number 4, Rashad Penny, which really pains me to say. It seems that I'm actually low now on Rashad Penny, which just blows my mind, because back in January I was with a few other people that were like, this guy's gonna be a hell of a player in the NFL, way back when he was projected 4th, 5th round, but no more. He comes out and runs a 4.47 at the combine. He's 5'11", 220, so the level of competition questions can get thrown out the window there, as this guy is just a freak athlete. I think he's got great vision. He's got really nice hands, good breakaway speed. But, to say he's a first-round pick, I'm just not going to go that far. I think there's too many good running backs in this class. And as far as his ability to create yardage, he's got some shiftiness, he's got some power, he's got pretty good balance, but I don't think he's really elite in any of those regards. I think his best trait is going to be the balance and power. I didn't see a ton of shiftiness making guys miss. He outruns people, but not a lot of double hesitation, jukes, and stuff like that. But you don't necessarily need that, especially at 220. But that's enough, I guess, negative takes on Rashad Penny. I love Penny. I think he's going to be a stud in this league. If he's an all-pro, I'm not going to be surprised at all. If he's a Hall of Fame running back in the right fit, I wouldn't be surprised at all. The guy has a ton of talent. Traditionally, 10 years ago, probably a first-round pick. Then number 5, John Kelly, another guy who has totally shot up on some people's boards. Now, he's not a freak athlete, which a lot of people are going to push him down for that reason. 4.6 40s, not a ton of good agility scores. But this guy has easily the best balance in this class, ahead of Saquon Barkley. When I first threw on John Kelly's tape back in January, the first thought I had on the second run of the game I was watching was Kareem Hunt. I love Kareem Hunt coming out for the balance reason. Just that uncoachable ability to absorb contact. And he's not even that big. He's 5'10", 216, which is heavier than he played at Tennessee. But he catches the ball well. He's got good vision. This guy is just going to get you first downs, fight for yardage you didn't think you were going to be able to get. Really like John Kelly. I've got a 2nd to 3rd round grade on him. He's probably going to go 3rd to 4th, so I think you're getting a value when you take John Kelly. And then at number 6, I've actually got Bo Scarborough here, and it's a bit of a surprise, but when I really broke it down, you're getting a powerful running back, a guy who you can definitely use in goal line situations, use to chew out the clock and not fumble. I've got LeGarrette Blount as my comparison. I really like that comparison. He's not Derrick Henry. He's not as fast, and he's not as quick either. He did run 1.45 240 at the combine. So, he definitely has breakaway speed, but he's a slow starter for sure. So he does have some upside. He could definitely be a bell cow power back in this league. You love the size, 6'1", 228. And if you flash back to before this year, he was being talked about right there with Barkley, Geis, and Chubb as the top running back in this class. He has a disappointing year in terms of production, but I think the talent's still there. You're getting this guy in the 3rd round, just a freaky, big and fast ball carrier. And then my number 7 guy is kind of similar, but a guy that I actually think has more upside and someone I've been super high on going back to almost 2 years ago now. Kalen Ballage, who is possibly, behind Saquon, the biggest freak in this class. Now, he lost carries this year to Demario Richard, who was kind of that college CJ Anderson, who's way down at the bottom of this class. And his play really dropped off, but he catches the ball very nicely for his size at 6'1", 228. I thought I saw a lot of David Johnson in his tape his junior year, not so much his senior year. He's a little bit of a slow starter. He doesn't have the quickest feet, so he's a little more of a straight line runner than you may like. He might need a little bit of a lane to get going, but once this guy's in the open field, good luck trying to stop the man. He is a freak of nature. He'll stiff arm you. He'll jump over you, run through you. He ran a 4.46 at the combine. His three cone is really good too. A 6.91 three cone is one of the best among running backs. So that indicates he actually has really good agility, but you don't really see it as much on tape. So that could translate at the next level. But I really like the upside of Kalen Ballage, and to get him in the 3rd or 4th round could be an absolute steal for the team that knows how to use him. And then number 8, Kerryon Johnson. And I did not know what to do with Kerryon Johnson when I first started looking at him before the combine. I think Auburn had him listed at 6'1", and he actually looks that tall on film, so I believed it, but he's only 213, so I'm thinking, okay, undersized, big guy. They use him as like a wildcat quarterback a lot and like a goal line Cam Newton type of thing at Auburn. So I'm thinking he's a bit of an awkward size tweener, maybe like a James Starks even. But then he comes in at the combine, 5'11", runs 4.49 at his pro day. And I think being 5'11 at 213 actually helps his ceiling, because I think that would have been kind of an awkward weight above 6 feet tall. But now he has more leverage as a runner. He's going to have more quickness. Being lighter, he can be more of a shifty speed to power type as opposed to just a straight line runner who doesn't quite have the size to run people over. So he's gonna look a lot different in the pros, I think, than he did at Auburn, where they really did use him as a power back. I think he's gonna contribute on 3rd downs. He's got good hands, but he has all the makings of a 3-down back. I actually think a decent comparison, although the measurables might not quite be there, but maybe like Jerick McKinnon might be an interesting comparison for Kerryon Johnson. Not the same test scores, but I think as an athlete on the football field, I think they're actually pretty similar players. Then at number 9, a guy I really, really like, probably higher on him than normal, is Akrum Wadley. Smaller, not going to completely call him a receiving back, but probably his role right away. Has really, really good foot quickness and vision, and his balance is really good as well. I think of like a Dion Lewis when I watched Akrum Wadley. Behind Saquon Barkley, he might have the best open field vision in this class. He catches a ball out of the backfield and is just really good at seeing the pursuit angles and making a guy miss. Is he ever going to be a 3-down back? I don't know. I don't think anyone ever thought Dion Lewis was going to be a 3-down back, and now he's making, $6 million a year for the Titans? And you're getting Wadley again here in like the 3rd, 4th round. This is why I say wait on running back, because there's a lot of really good running backs in this class. And then number 10, we got Royce Freeman, who I think a lot of people have a lot higher. This is kind of just a gut thing for me. He definitely has the upside. He's a polarizing prospect at 5'11", 229, and then good speed, agility scores. And he showed flashes of being potentially an elite running back at the next level, but he just doesn't seem to have it all together for me. I don't think he fully understands what he's going to be at the next level. I think the upside is there, but at that size, I thought when he went to the power option and trying to run through people, it was much more successful than when he tried to get shifty. And I didn't see outstanding vision or anything to indicate that he could pull a Le'Veon Bell and turn into that. So I like Freeman. I'm just not quite as high. I don't think he's quite as polished coming out as any of these guys above him, or just doesn't have the same upside that some of these guys like Ballage or Johnson or Scarborough really have. But regardless, he's another good value here in the 3rd or 4th round. So that's the top 10 list, but a quick shout out to Justin Jackson. Comes out and shows he's actually a really shifty guy at 6 feet, 200 out of Northwestern, a running back I really, really like, who I have going 3rd, 4th round, as he was being projected 5th, 6th round before the combine. Sony Michel, I include him in this list along with Ronald Jones. I don't really like their games, unlike a lot of people. I think Sony Michel lost a lot of money when he comes out and runs a 4.54 because he's basically a guy that made his living off of speed at Georgia. And then Ronald Jones, I've got Christine Michael as his comparison. He's not coming out and running in his workouts because of an injury. The upside's there, but I just saw an indecisive runner who has some vision, some power, some shiftiness, a little bit of everything, but doesn't really know who he is. 5'11", 205, not ideal size. for a 3-down running back. So I think the potential's there. I just, a lot of people have him first, second round. That's just way too rich for me when there's other guys in this class that I think are much safer and have about the same upside. And then there's a cluster of other guys after that who also could be good. But I think there are 13 really good running backs in this class that we just talked about. Curious to hear what you guys have for your rankings. And again, you can get my full draft board. It is now complete, over 400 players, fully profiled. You can get it via PayPal or heading over to patreon.com/ThatFranchiseGuy. All that info is in the description. So cheers, everyone. We'll see you next time for my receivers. Peace out.